Hello and welcome back to the Skippers View Podcast, episode 216. My name is Hagen. That is Brett. As always, brought to you guys by Chinook Seedery. Make sure to use the code SkippersView for 10% discount. Get your seeds. We love them. Go check them out. Also, go check out Stat Shoulder. We talked about it last couple episodes. Jude came on here last week to talk about it. He wrote a blog about it. If you want to learn more about it, go read that. Go check out the website. It's pretty cool. It's still in some testing phases. So if there's any issues, go let him know. But go check it out. And then also, too, obviously today's the anniversary of September 11th. So prayers to the families and everyone who was involved in that. Obviously, it was a big moment for our country, a very special day in our country as well. So thoughts and prayers go out to that in a special day in our country. In doing that, let's just dive into this now. I mean, we have the title in here, the 50 home run. Who's going to reach it this year? Let's start off. Kyle Schwarber just joined it the other day against the New York Mets. He had his 50th home run. He joined Cal Raleigh, is the two only guys so far this year to have 50 home runs. Now that they're in there, the guys that are close right now, Shohei Ohtani's at 48, Eugenio Suarez is at 45, and Aaron Judge is at 44. This could be the first time we get the first ever MLB season where we have five guys that hit 50 home runs. It's incredible what we have right now. And honestly, it's a time, too, where players are selling out for power and teams are looking for home runs, and the batting average is low, so it shouldn't shock anybody that we have the chance to have five guys to 50 home runs. And another sneaky one too does have a chance. I think it's the only one outside of those guys that has a real chance. Be Junior Caminero. He's on pace for 47 home runs right now. He's been great the last month or so. In his last 30 days, he's been about 40% above league average hitter. He has 8 home runs. He's been incredible. Obviously, we talked about a few episodes ago about how when he hit 40 home runs, about how great he's been. But it's incredible to see what we're seeing from these players this year.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a little technical glitch there. But yeah, Raleigh, Schwarber, Ohtani, Suarez, Judge, even Junior Caminero now. Yeah, you got 5 guys who I think are legitimately going to hit this number. You got one on the outskirts who can do it. I doubt Junior Caminero is going to get there, even though we love him to do so. We'll see how that plays out, but this is, historic because 1998 and 2001, the only other seasons where 4+ guys have hit 50 or more bombs. And if you look at 1998, Greg Vaughn, Ken Griffey Jr., Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa. I don't know Greg Vaughn's background. I know McGwire and Sosa were both involved with PEDs. Ken Griffey Jr. is probably the most, I think he's like our generation, my generation GOAT. I'll say that. Like he was like when I was growing up, Ken Griffey Jr. was my guy. And then 2001, it was A-Rod, steroids. Barry Bonds, steroids. Sammy Sosa, steroids. Luis Gonzalez, Yankee killer. But like I don't even, so I feel like both those years, this is kind of tainted because more than half the playing field in 1998 and 2001 are steroid users. So this, I'm not saying everyone's clean nowadays. Clearly, we have PED suspensions all the time. They're way more on top of it, the MLB. So you could at least have the trust and like the integrity behind the MLB nowadays that this is a natural, like 5 guys going for 50 home runs in the same season. And, outside of Raleigh and Schwarber, we expect this out of Ohtani. We expect this out of Judge nowadays, which is insane to think about hitting 50+ bombs in a season. But I think it's going to be super interesting to see these 5 guys, can get there. So if Suarez, Judge, and Ohtani get there, joining Schwarber and Cal Raleigh, 2025 is going to go down as one of the craziest seasons of all time, especially due to the fact that the drought of no-hitters that's been going on as well this year. So it's kind of the year of the bat. It's not the year of the pitcher in 2025.
I mean, I do like that with the way he closed that, the year of the bat, not the pitcher. Because obviously we've seen a lot of the top pitchers as well this year have a lot of injuries. The Garrett Coles, the Zach Wheelers of the world kind of get the injuries down there. So it is great. And another pitcher, too, that would be criminal to not speak about would be Conley Early for the Boston Red Sox, who made his MLB debut the other day. He had 11 strikeouts in his MLB debut. That's the most for MLB debut since Freddie Peralta back on May 13th, 2018. He allowed 5 hits. He only walked 1 and tied Don Ace in 1977 for the franchise record for strikeouts in Major League debut for the Boston Red Sox. He looked phenomenal out there. I mean, you just saw the swings that people were putting on him. People were just late on the fastball, watching the fastball go by. I know Aram Layton put out a tweet about there talking about these are the swings you get when people are too doomed up on your secondaries and they're looking for those. And then he's just blowing the fastball by guys where they're trying to catch up to it. I mean, he looked great out there. Obviously, a left-hander out there in Oakland, too, where a spot that we know that the ball flies out there. It's almost like the closest thing to Coors we have right now for a hitter-friendly ballpark.
Yeah, this was super impressive. I do have a few of Connolly Early's first Bowmans, actually. Um, I love the name. Love the name. This is kind of crazy. This is just another Boston pitcher, showing he's got stuff. And I think Boston, they're not quite on that Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Milwaukee level yet, but I think Boston's right there. Even the Mets as well in terms of pitching development as of late. But I think Boston's right amongst that group, and Connolly Early is just the latest example of that happening for the Boston Red Sox.
I mean, yeah, Boston has had a lot of great guys come out, especially this year. They've had a few rookies come up and make big impacts too. Obviously, Peyton Tolley looked great in his debut. Obviously, he was a higher prospect ranking than Early was, but they got some exciting arms here in Boston and an exciting time where just the youth is taken over, and you're seeing almost, especially after the Devers got moved, where it's a new time in Boston going forward with all these young guys. But someone who's going to be there for another year is Rolis Chapman, who we talked about before. He had that streak where he went 50 batters since allowing a hit. Unfortunately, that did come to an end, which sucks. We all knew eventually it was going to come to an end, though. But that was the first hit he allowed since July 23rd. Just a big congratulations to Rolis Chapman, especially a guy who's been in the league for over a decade, and he's having a career year. Still 90th percentile in fastball velocity at 37 years old. It's insane what he just did. Now, I mean, he allowed the runs, so now his ERA was sub-1. Now it's up to a 1.14. He's been great for the Boston Red Sox this year. He's been lights out in that closer role for him this year. And on a team like Boston, when you've had some starting pitching injuries go down, some hitter injuries go down, you need to have a lockdown bullpen if you want to make a deep run in the postseason.
For sure. Dude, Chapman, he's one of the, and I'm focusing, I know every time I bring up Chapman, I hyperfixate that I'm focusing on his athletic career because I'm being overly sensitive that I do not like him off the field. But Chapman on the field this year, what a remarkable story in the baseball world. Just 37 years old. We talked about this in a recent episode, how I told you that my first manager at work, and I graduated in 2016. So it's almost been 10 years, said that Chapman was the most athletic player he said he's the best athlete in the United States at that point amongst professional sports. And I thought he was high, to be honest. I was like, are you crazy? You have LeBron James peak form. You had and he said Chapman and stood by it. And now you look at it, clearly closers don't get the attention that, superstar basketball players get or quarterbacks get. The Tom Brady's the world who lasts forever in the league, Peyton Manning. And now Aaron Rodgers, who's I think 39, 40, however old he is. But Chapman is right there. He is just as good at his sport as the other guys are. It's just in baseball, obviously, titles come far and few between, which people don't appreciate. I think you brought the stat earlier this year that baseball is the longest lasting sport without a repeat champion amongst the big four in the U.S., correct? I think it's a 21 or 22 year streak. We haven't seen a repeat champion. So World Series do not come often. And Chapman's been a dog his entire career.
I mean, it's been incredible what he's been able to do this year for the Boston Red Sox. And I brought it up before, but just the walk rate that he has. Obviously, he's only walking 6.9% of batters this year. Going from 2024 to previous years before that, 14.7%, 14.5%, 17.5%, 15.6%. That is insane. This guy has cut his walk rate in more than half. For a guy who throws so hard, I know I've talked about it a couple times on the show already, but came out before in an interview and he just said that I used to just throw my fastball as hard as I could down the middle. This is the first year of his career. He's really spotted up trying to locate his fastball, and he cuts the walk rate in half. Who would have thought? And I think with the way the American League's gone this year with pitching, with some of the injuries like a Nathan Eovaldi who got hurt earlier this year, he has a real shot, I think, to take third in the Cy Young voting behind Tarek Skubal and Garrett Crochet here. Because obviously it sounds crazy because you have the debate on how high can you put a closer up there when he's only going to finish with about 60, 65 innings. But we saw last year with Emmanuel Clase, who had another great season last year, who was putting up numbers close to what he was doing. And he finished, I believe, third or fourth in Cy Young voting. So it's not like that is too insane to say that he has a chance to finish. I mean, for sure, top five, I would say at this point.
His baseball reference page is a joy to look at. If you look at it, like 24 career WAR, he's got 59 wins with 364 saves. That's like, and like he's obviously the Hall of Very Good. I don't like, even for a reliever, starter, turn reliever, I don't think he has enough counting stats to get there. But the guy, he's got 8 All-Star appearances. He's got 2 World Series rings. He's finished top 8 in Cy Young voting before, and that was when he was with the Reds as a 24-year-old starter. He finished MVP 12 that year back in 2012 when he did that. And like, he hasn't had Cy Young votes since. I totally agree. I don't think he should win the Cy Young, but like, I don't know. Tarek Skubal has also been so good where he might deserve a unanimous Cy Young. But like Chapman, it just, he has been that good that we're at least having the conversation about getting, a Cy Young vote here.
For sure. And at least it will be known that he's going to be the highest Cy Young placer for the National League or the American League for a reliever this year from what he's done. And let's rush it over to the other side of the country here for the San Francisco Giants. Obviously, shortstop Willy Adames, the ink to a long-term contract this offseason. He became the first Giant with 28 or more home runs in the team's first 145 games since 2007, Barry Bonds. This is incredible for what Willy Adames has been able to do. And my favorite stat is, one of my favorite stats in all sports has been that since Barry Bonds in 2004, there has not been a San Francisco Giants player to hit 30 home runs in a season. Willy Adames might break that this year. In my lifetime, there has never been a San Francisco Giant to hit 30 home runs. And Willy Adames might break the trend this year, which I would love to see, but I also do love this stat and how long it's been going for. It's kind of one of my favorite ones to track every single year.
Sorry, getting a call. But we'll keep moving on. Wanted to talk about the Willy Adames factor here. Dude, I can't believe he's the first Giant with 28 home runs since Bonds. That's kind of crazy to think about. Like, back in 2007, it's almost been 20 years since the Giants had 28 plus home runs. That's absurd.
I mean, it's insane. I mean, I get the ballpark is very tough. I mean, there's been, I believe, 2 now this year, unicorn home runs in Oracle Park. One the other night, actually, from Rafael Devers, where, I mean, a reverse unicorn, where it would be a home run in every single ballpark except the one it was in. Obviously, if you hit the top of the wall in that right center field, you can hit it there. So obviously, it's hard with the ballpark there too. Some of the dimensions, it's hard to get some home runs out of there, but it's still crazy that you wouldn't at least get 30 home runs because they've had a lot of good hitters too in the San Francisco Giants over the years. And moving over to, we talked about a little bit the awards a couple episodes ago, and I pretty much think all the awards are wrapped up at this point, besides the National League Rookie of the Year. I think that's the only award that's really open for grabs right now, and it's pretty much down to Cade Horton, Isaiah Collins, and Drake Baldwin, but more likely Cade Horton and Drake Baldwin, who Cade Horton continues to make his Rookie of the Year case, dominated the Braves in a 6-1 Cubs victory, went 6 1/3, 4 hits, 1 run, 2 strikeouts, no walks. After that game, he became the favorite for Rookie of the Year I saw on betting sites. Cade Horton's my Rookie of the Year. I mean, he's been one of the best pitchers in all of Major League Baseball in the second half. He's probably going to be the Game 1 starter for the Cubs in the playoff series if he keeps this up, which has been, I think, coming into the year, especially the first half he struggled a little bit. Obviously, he was a rookie. He acclimated to Major League Baseball, but it's been phenomenal what Cade Horton's been able to do for the Cubs, especially when you trade for Soroka, and that's your starting pitching acquisition, goes down pretty quick. Yet Justin Steele has been out. Shohei Managa was out for a long time, too. It's great what Cade Horton's been able to do for the Cubs this year.
Yeah, dude. He's got a 2.70 ERA. He's 10-4 with almost 2 WAR through 21 starts, or 20 starts, 21 games played. 110 innings, 89 strikeouts, low whip, 1.109. What's not to love? And he, I think, compared to Drake Baldwin, who obviously Sean Murphy just went down, Drake Baldwin had a lot of, I guess, leeway to, be able to not perform right away due to having Sean Murphy as the primary catcher. even though Drake Baldwin knocked out of the park. And that's not me trying to be punny. That's just he had a very good hitting year for a rookie catcher. And then you look at Isaac Collins. He was awesome for a while, Isaac Collins, and then he kind of fell off big for a little bit. I think Cade Horton definitely deserves it at this point. Like I think Cade Horton had the biggest shoes to fill. Did Isaac Collins have a lot to do with the Milwaukee win streak? For sure, he definitely played his part, and for how well they did early in the season. But right now, I think Cade Horton is the guy that Chicago absolutely needs. They didn't go out and go make a trade during the deadline. Me and you were both super disappointed about that, and it was probably because they had full faith in Cade Horton to be able to hold down that slot for them as the number one pitcher. Should they have done that? Probably not. Maybe be a little safer and go get an Andrew Heaney for next to nothing to bolster the rotation a little bit. But Cade Horton's showing us all wrong that we were wrong. So I'm with you. Cade Horton is my guy right now.
Yeah, and I like the point you brought up there where he filled the biggest shoes because obviously you had Drake Baldwin step up for the Braves. He had Sean Murphy there the entire year that was with him, besides when he was on the IL. Granted, yeah, he's going to be the full catcher going forward the rest of the year for the last couple of weeks or so, but his team is not good this year. Cade Horton had to step up and become the hey, when this guy gets the ball, we win guy for the Cubs in a time where the rotation was depleted. Their bullpen has struggled. You have your closer just got hurt too. So on a playoff team that obviously you're not going to win the division anymore, but you still have a very good chance of making a deep run here in the postseason. Another pitcher too that could be a big part for a postseason team that's dealt with injuries as well is Ranger Suarez, who career high 12 strikeouts and 1 hit in 6 scoreless innings against the Mets. I'm not even going to lie, watching that game, Ranger Suarez, I had to turn that game off early because of how frustrated I was. But he was full on. It was dominance from Ranger Suarez. Just everything. The curveball looked phenomenal. He had Mets hitters guessing the entire time. Just dominated this team. It was phenomenal. Ranger Suarez, obviously, he's a great postseason pitcher. He's probably going to get a star, I would assume, for the Phillies here in the postseason. But it was great to see Ranger get back on track and have obviously a career start.
Dude, I don't know what it is with these Phillies pitchers. Like, I don't know if it's because Zach Wheeler's that good in the playoffs or that I'm just shaky. But Ranger Suarez, Christopher Sanchez, Aaron Nola, who's obviously had a down year. I don't know how Philly's going to do in the playoffs. I really don't. They are that rotation is the biggest X factor to me. I think they have everything in their power to have great outings. The question is, are they going to do it? Because remember, they're facing off against very talented teams as well. They might have to play the Mets in the first round in a wild card game. Who knows how the National League is going to unfold? But we know one of the wild card teams is going to be the Padres or the Dodgers. That would suck for Philly to have to play them. And I don't think Philly has the lockdown pitching to really shove against the Dodgers lineup. Even how bad the Dodgers have been as of late, it's the Dodgers. Like Muncy just came back. Mookie Betts is starting to hit again. Freddie Freeman's like starting to really progress off that ankle surgery he had in the offseason. Who's to say? And I think Philly can get really screwed here. And I think the loss of Zach Wheeler, we're going to feel it very much so come the playoffs.
Yeah, I think Philly's starting pitching has been a big concern for the playoffs going forward. Obviously, just thinking the last few days on who I think's going to be in the World Series here, who's going to win the National League and stuff like that. If Zach Wheeler was on this Phillies team, I would have probably say Philly's my World Series champion right now. But without him, it's different. Yes, Christopher Sanchez is an ace right now. And I feel very confident with him going against anybody in Major League Baseball right now in a Game 1. Ranger Suarez, though, if he's doing this, and I know he's performed great in the postseason, you feel good about it. But like, is it an Aaron Nola who's had a really bad year, honestly, especially for his standards? For his standards, it's been awful, but to be quite honest with you. But then he goes out and he has a great start against the Mets. So was that just he caught the Mets at a bad time, or is that Aaron Nola starting to heat up right in the perfect time? So it's going to be interesting to tell here and see how these Phillies pitchers, especially the starters, do these last 15 games are left or so, and see how they do going into the postseason, because that rotation is going to be a big X factor on how I feel about this team.
Yeah, and like last thing about Philly, you don't think they're going to bring in Painter for a playoff? Like I feel like Painter is the guy that we're all hoping is going to be like the next stud pitcher in the league, but I feel like deploying him in the playoffs is kind of like not a way you want to do with that type of prospect. What are your thoughts around that?
I think if they would have brought Painter up, I think it would have been earlier, before even like the September 1st deadline, or maybe a little bit before that. That's when I would have thought they would have brought him up. So I wouldn't think, at least at this point for sure, I wouldn't think they'd bring him up as a starter. Obviously, I don't think he's even eligible for the postseason roster. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if you do bring him up at this point, it's just to be almost like the Corbin Burns when he first came up, where you're bringing him up to pitch out of the bullpen. You're not bringing him to make starts for you.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm super excited to see Andrew Painter pitch, though. I'm very excited to see him on the big league level.
I mean, someone that we're also very excited to watch day in and day out, especially you, Aaron Judge. Talked about the other day about how his home runs were he stacked up in Yankee history. He just hit his 359th career home run with the Yankees, passes Yogi Berra for fifth all time in Yankee history. This guy is becoming an all time Yankee great. I said a few months ago that he is the most talented player to ever play for the New York Yankees. Not obviously the best, isn't the counting stats, all that. But Aaron Judge is going to go down as one of the best Yankees of all time, championship or not, in my opinion.
Dude, I'm not even going to comment on the home runs because I have a piece coming out. It's going to be top 5 home run guys, every ball club, and a synopsis of like what it means, who do we have active, like just to take a look at it, because it's like Guardians, and this is one fun fact or 2 fun facts I'll unveil about the piece. Like, one, I'm going through the American League. 2 of the 5 athletics guys all time, both big steroid users. Canseco, McGuire. If you look at the Guardians, do you know who their all-time home run leader is?
Is it Tomei?
I believe it is Tomei. Do you know who is up there for them right now, top 5, though?
Is J-Ram in there yet?
J-Ram is in there. And I thought that was super interesting because he's second. He's only 50 home runs of 40 home run, 60 home runs away from Jim Tomei's record. And the Cleveland Guardians, formerly known as the Cleveland Indians, how long do you think they've been a team, Hagen?
I mean, I believe they were back in at least early 1900s, 1800s. Because I remember just that long streak they had without even winning a World Series or making a World Series.
So I'm trying to just triple check this right now. They were established in 1896. 1896. It will be essentially, with those 4 years, it'll be 130 years of an organization. And J-Ram is 60 home runs away from leading that organization's home run all-time leader list. How insane is that? He's an active player. We're getting to watch him play, and we barely talk about him compared to the Shoheis and the Judges and the Bobby Witts of the world. J-Ram is that's fun stuff that I learned writing this piece, but more to come on that. Well, let's focus on Judge though for one more minute. And my big takeaway with this is with Aaron Judge, how you just said he's going to be one of the all-time Yankee greats in terms of home runs and just overall awesomeness. Dude, Judge is that good right now that I immediately I'm thinking DiMaggio, Gehrig, Mantle, Ruth. I don't even think Jeter. I don't even think Bernie Williams. I don't even think A-Rod. I go straight to Judge and then those guys, which is insane. I know Alex Rodriguez has a troubled history, but you know what I'm saying? I don't think Don Mattingly. I just go straight to Aaron Judge, and he's with those, the old guys of this team, the old guard, we'll call them. But he's something special. We had a whole debate. Go listen to it a few episodes ago about where we think Judge will end and if he'll hit 500 or not.
Yeah, and then some other history that we just had the other day was Pittsburgh Pirates, who have been around for 144 years as a team. There's only been 8 players to strike out 200 batters in a season. Ed Morris had the 2 top seasons back in the 19th century. Bob Veal accomplished this 4 times in the 1960s. In the 21st century, Oliver Perez, Mitch Keller, A.J. Burnett, Francisco Liriano, and Garrett Cole all had a year with at least 200 strikeouts. And on Wednesday night, Paul Skeens joined that by getting his 200th strikeout of the year, striking out Kobe Mayo in the 3rd inning. I think everybody saw this coming this year. I don't think anybody. I think it'd be crazier for him to get less than 200 strikeouts than it would be for him to get 300 strikeouts, honestly, at this point in his career, for how dominant Paul Skeens is. And this is coming into a year, too, where he's not striking out batters as much as good as a rate as he was last year, I believe. It's just incredible, Paul Skeens. I mean, this doesn't surprise me one bit. I think you can as long as Paul Skeens is healthy, you can mark him down for at least 200 strikeouts a season. And what he's shown us so far, you can mark him down for a 2 ERA at most. It's been incredible what Paul Skeens is doing. We can't talk about it enough about how he's genuinely the best pitching start to a career, you could arguably say, ever. You could probably say the best in the last 50 years. It's just incredible what Paul Skeens is doing.
Yeah, I'm so glad I got his autograph. I feel like I say that every episode. That should show you how happy I am to have his autograph. I have all these great Hall of Famers up here. Paul Skeens, no Cy Youngs, no World Series, probably none coming for a long time unless he abandoned ship, which he probably should. But all the Hall of Fame autographs, the Mantles, the Hank Aaron's, I care about the Paul Skeens autograph. That's the one I care. Like, that's the one that, like, I will be buried in the grave with it.
I mean, I can't blame you for that one bit. And a question I had about Paul Skeens, I posted this in Skipper's chat about a couple months ago. It was around the All-Star game. And I said, if Paul Skeens, like, bearing injury, if he's healthy, how many years in his career does it take him to not be an All-Star? I don't know what you would say there. At least 10 years, the way he's looking right now. I know it's hard to say that about someone in the future, because obviously if he gets Tommy John, that can change and everything like that. But if he's healthy, I don't see why he would never not be an All-Star.
Dude, yeah. Like, last year's a rookie, 5.9 WAR. This year, 7.3, and the year's not done. He's got 21 wins across the last 2 years with the Pirates. Do you know how many wins the Pirates have had the last 2 years? I'm kind of...
Got to be very, very low.
This year, they're 64 and 83. So, with that being said, Paul Skeens, out of their 64 wins, Paul Skeens been a part of 10 of them. Like, he's accredited for 10 of them. If we look at last year, the Pirates won,
it's just insane what he's doing.
76 games. Paul Skeens, who came up, remember, later in the season, had 11 freaking wins. And he came up maybe even, like, beginning of June. Absurd. I absolutely agree. Unless, pending health, he's going to be an All-Star every year of his career.
I mean, yeah, I just don't see when the downfall is going to happen here, barring a complete injury to his shoulder or his arm, whatever it is, because he does everything well. I mean, doesn't walk guys that much. He strikes people out. He can make you put the ball in play if he needs to. He throws 100 miles an hour. He has 6 or 7 pitches, whatever he has out there. But it's just incredible, and he's one of the best pitchers that I've honestly ever seen in my eyes. Now we'll get into some news and injuries now. We got Kyle Tucker. Unfortunately, he just got placed in the 10-day IL for the Chicago Cubs, retroactive to September 6th due to a strained left calf. This will mark Tucker's first IL stint since joining the Cubs, and it's probably going to be an abundance of caution. The Cubs do not have much to play for except just the positioning of the wild card in his absence, which they do have a good lead to on the Mets and the Padres, but more so the Padres. So you expect to get Willie Castro and Seiya Suzuki to get some right field duties out there. I would assume, I know Seiya Suzuki's been struggling a little bit recently, but Willie Castro, that's what you bring a guy in like this for. He's a utility, can play pretty much anywhere. So it'll be good to see them get some playing time, but hopefully he'll be back in the postseason. Everything's fine with him. Arizona, when x-rays showed there was no significant damage to Ketel Marte, the veteran second baseman in the bottom of the 7th, due to a right foot contusion that he suffered after he fouled the ball off his foot. That's good news for Arizona. Obviously, they're not going to be in the postseason this year, but that's one of your franchise players out there. You don't want to have him dealing with anything going into the offseason, have to get surgery, and have to get right in rehab going into the offseason, then not have a full, healthy offseason, which I think is a very important thing for baseball players, is having a full, healthy offseason and being able to train normally without having an injury. David Festa for the Minnesota Twins, he got diagnosed with neurological thoracic outlet syndrome. His season's done now, and he's given everything we know after the TOS. It seems like he'll likely miss some time in 2026 as well, which does suck for this. Obviously, I thought this is more of not even just the baseball. It sucks to see a guy miss. This is more just like the person that you get diagnosed with something like this, that you just hope that he's able to get over this, and you hope that everything will be fine. It's just worrying about the person first more than the baseball player.
I'm like looking up this. I've heard of thoracic, like that term before. It's a condition where the nerves in the thoracic outlet, the space between your collarbone and your first rib, I don't even know where that is, like probably somewhere there, and shoulder muscles are compressed. Oh my good. It sounds like intensive PT, lifestyle modifications, medication is a way to treat it. There's oh god, that does not look fun.
It does not sound good at all by any means. So hopefully Bess is able to be fine and get back out on the field soon. But more importantly, doesn't affect his daily life, stuff like that. Michael Waka, another injury as well. He got placed in the 7-day IL with a concussion. I hope he's going to be able to get another start or two before the season ends and come back from that. I know Kansas City still has a slight chance looking in here to the playoffs, so let's hope they can get him back. Everything's fine there. Luis Garcia Jr., he got placed in the 15 IL for Houston due to right elbow discomfort. Neither of you like the sound of that. We always don't like the right elbow inflammation, discomfort. He also just came off the IL a week ago after losing all of 2024 due to setbacks in Tommy John in 2023. This sucks especially because you miss all of 2024 due to Tommy John surgery. You come back, and then a week later you go on the IL to right elbow discomfort. That's just not a good sign at all. And you just hope that nothing was wrong with the elbow because, I mean, if you have Tommy John and you come back and you pitch for a week in the big leagues and in your rehab and stuff like that, you don't get that many miles on your arms after the TJ. And if you have to go out and get another Tommy John again, that could be career-altering, career-ending, honestly.
Yeah, scary stuff. I don't like to hear that at all.
Another big injury, too. St. Louis Cardinals, Mason Wynn. He has a torn meniscus in his right knee, but the Cardinals are having to play through it for the remainder of the season. He apparently has had the tear for months now, which may explain his below average offensive numbers since June. I do not like this at all. Obviously, the injuries suck, yes. Why the hell is Mason Wynn still playing? You're the St. Louis Cardinals. What the hell are you guys playing for? You guys have been out of it for months now. If he has a torn meniscus, get him off the field. I don't care if he can still physically go out there and play every single day. Let him get healthy for next season. I know you're probably looking to rebuild going into next year with the new changes in the management and everything like that, but why are you having your star shortstop play through an injury? I get you probably going to go out there just to go win the Platinum Glove. Like, I don't really know what it is. Is it just to accumulate stats, stuff like that? I don't know what it is. I think if a player is hurt, you should probably not be playing, especially a torn meniscus in your knee or how severe it is or not.
Yeah, I always wonder like how if they like, I don't know how it works professionally. Clearly, I've never worked in a pro organization, but like guys, I'm sure don't open their mouths as well. At the same time, I don't want to put all the blame on it, but like maybe Mason Wynn didn't like explain what he's dealing with or what have you. It could be both. Faulty behavior on Wynn and the organization, but who knows? This is just really shitty because Mason Wynn's a super talented young player, like you just said, and yeah, clearly, he's been playing for months, according to this report, and he's been dealing with this. I don't understand it. It's baseball. This isn't football. Where like I feel like you could rehab an ACL in baseball a lot faster than football because like even though you got to get it back to the correct strength, in fact, you want to build it up stronger. Like you're not cutting the way you do in football. It's like you're just not. And anyone who argues that, like, come on, like grow up. There's more like knee like injuries in football, cutting and pivoting and sprinting and getting tackled, compared to diving for a base and or a ball on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I could see Mason Wynn's side of it, like obviously I don't want them playing if you're hurt, especially at something like this that can get worse, honestly, playing if you move your knee the wrong way or something like that, is if Mason Wynn is trying to play through this, like you said, if he kind of kept it low with the team for a little bit or whatever, because I get too that players, especially when you're still in arbitration or pre-arbit, in his case here, that you haven't made it yet in the big leagues. You don't have a future guaranteed financially. At this point, if his career ends, he's going to have to go get a real job. He's not set financially for life. So I can see his reasoning. The only way I would see it is if I'm trying to go play out there, get my stats up, so when I do go to arbitration, I can use that to my advantage. Because when you go to arbitration, these teams would use that against you, saying, oh, okay, no, you missed 3 months of playing time because you got hurt here. Where it's like, I don't care that you got hurt, you missed 3 months of playing time. That means why should we give you this contract when you deserve this instead? So I can see him just saying, hey, I want to go play out there. I want to do that. That's the only reason why I can see him playing through something like that.
Yeah, for sure. And finally, the last bit of news and notes here, probably the most sensitive and the most, just like how is this still happening at the major league level? So Detroit, a couple of Tigers employees are accused of misconduct towards women. At least 8 men employed by the Detroit Tigers. So this isn't just one or two guys. This is 8 men are accused of misconduct towards women since 2023, including 4 VPs and 2 other high-ranking employees of the ball club. So this is led by an investigation that The Athletic found. Hagen, what are your thoughts on? I don't want to say what are your thoughts on this. This is terrible. It's more of just like how, I guess, discussion, like how is this happening at a enterprise level, with multiple people in the same enterprise?
I think that's the better way to ask it is how is this happening, especially when we're at a point now in baseball where we're getting more women involved in the game now. We talked about it about a month or so ago, how we have female GMs that we've had in the past. We have female coaches now, the female umpires, stuff like that. And it just sucks to see something like this, especially when women are trying to get more involved, where we're trying to get them in our game more, give them more opportunities and all that. But then you see stuff like this, where then if you're a woman trying to get into baseball, where it's already you're going to be outnumbered by men by any means. In that way, you see something like this, and you realize I don't want to go play for the Tigers. I don't want to go work for the Tigers. So I don't really know what to think of this whole situation.
No, exactly, and that's where I was going. Is like, if I'm a woman, why do I want to go work for Detroit now? Yeah, and it's like, yeah, and like I understand, like I don't. I'm trying to word this in a way where I'm not going to get attacked. Um, I understand the world is not a perfect place, and that things like this will unfortunately always occur somewhere, and like they could be one-offs. This is like kind of, it's bothering because it's so many. It's not like one, it's 8 separate men are accused, and like it's been going on for 2 years since 2023, and we're just hearing about it. I get these things take time for investigation and all that, but like this is an enterprise level like issue. I feel like, I'm not calling for jobs yet, but there are things to consider here. Like this is 8 people here are, like all in this, and like they don't work for like Disney World. They don't work for, Apple. These are not, the Detroit Tigers are not probably one of the highest, like in terms of employer. How many people do you think they actually employ? Like, think about it. Like, they probably have a lot between coaches, sales, ticketing, marketing, concessions, which are seasonal workers, like maybe a few thousand. And like, these are all coming from the same area. They're saying senior vice presidents and or other high ranking officials. There is something sour in the water here that I think like needs some serious consideration internally for Detroit, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll hop off my rant from there.
Just one last thing for me, different than that. Just moving on to one last thing before we close it out. I do just want to say, you say it a lot. If you want to have a good night, grab a 6-pack and watch these guys' highlights. Tomorrow night at 7:10 Eastern, grab a 6-pack and watch Jacob deGrom's return to Citi Field for the first time since leaving. Jacob deGrom since Jonah Tong. This might be my most anticipated pitching matchup of the year. If you listen to the show, you know I am a huge Jacob deGrom fan. I put a lot of Jacob deGrom bias onto this show. It's Jacob deGrom returns to Citi Field. This is absolute cinema. This is what I have been waiting for since he left in the offseason of 2023.
Dude, I will be home in New York. Hopefully I'm with Dean. I got a wedding rehearsal dinner or something like that tomorrow. But I will be actively tuning into this. I want you to keep me updated if I can. I'll text you if I'm not able to watch it. But should be an electric start out of deGrom. I think he's going to get a very loud round of applause.
He should be. I know Mets fans have been upset with the way he left, but I've always said I think Jacob deGrom eventually at one point in his career deserves to get the number 48 retired just for what he did for this franchise. I know he was hurt for a long time, but just peak-wise, he was incredible. So this is going to be a very special moment to see him return to Citi Field that I've waited for multiple years.
Were Mets fans upset with him?
Yeah, I floated the idea in the offseason last year to retire number 48, and I got like 80% no's saying, screw this guy. He left us. He didn't want to be here, and I was astonished when I saw it. I did not know what to believe. I thought that was insane.
He got his bag, dude. I feel like, and there were Met fans as well. Like, oh, I don't know. He's had whatever amount of Tommy Johns. Like, they were definitely cautious people, but like, 4-time All Star for New York. He has, what has he got? 2 Cy Youngs, 5-time All Star overall, Rookie of the Year. He's got an ERA title. The Mets, yeah, I hate to point fun, but didn't the Mets trade Tom Seaver away twice? You can't, like, I feel like Mets fans cannot complain about a pitcher going to get his and they trade away Tom Seaver twice. Is that,
Especially a pitcher that has had injury issues in the past, and only one team offered him a 5-year contract of $30 million a year. How do you not turn that down when you're a guy who could not stay healthy?
what, by the way, was it twice that they traded him?
I know once for sure.
To the
I
Red.
do
He was
not.
traded to the Reds once. I'm looking at his trades and transactions as we speak before I speak out of my butt. Um, so yeah, traded by New York Mets to Cincinnati. Traded. Well, no, it was one time. It was one time. I apologize.
Either way, your point still stands, though.
They let him walk twice because then he was selected by the White Sox from the Mets in the player compensation draft in January of 1984. So that's what it was. I
Okay.
wasn't totally off.
Either way, go watch that DeGrom start. It's going to be great.
All right. Well, I think that's it from us. Thank you for listening. We are out. Bye.